Hey and welcome back. So what we're doing now is moving the microphone. I'm going to be doing a little bit more detailing down the side here once we've actually got the cabin at the front now, because it's definitely time to do the cabin. So what I'm going to do is hide a few parts that we're not using now, so I'm going to hide selection, and I think I can take those with it. I'll probably get rid of the wing as well. Okay, and that just leaves these parts for us. And now, over here at the front, obviously you can see there's slightly less detail in the front area, so I'm going to start looking towards just getting that actual... Now, the question is there a pilot in this, or is it automated? Well, I personally think it's an automated system with just banks of computers, because, you know, pilots probably are a lot more difficult to train than the cannon fodder they're going to eject out the back. So, arrange my paperwork here carefully, and obviously, if you remember how we did this before, it's going to be the same kind of basic principle. What I'm going to do is grab straight down here. Let's do a connect, like so. Now, if I go to my left viewport and zoom in a bit, I just want to kind of straighten these out a little bit because, because I want them straight. So, what I'm going to do is just pull them straight in, like that, and that, and then this one. There we are, and I'm going to push this one out just a little bit. Bloody fly floating around in here, I can sod off as well. There we are. Okay, jump back into perspective and zoom out. So you can see where I'm going to be bringing this out. Bringing it out. So first area is obviously going to be here. So I'm going to grab this and just use my shift and drag just until we start to break the bounding box. You may remember from when we did this before, yeah? Just there. And just clone it to an element. Next, over here. Now it's up to you if you want to bring this out in one part or if you want to bring it out in a couple of parts, really. And I think I'm going to bring this out just as one part. I wasn't originally going to, but I am. But I'm going to bring it out in this shape. Okay, so again, just bring it out until the bounding box kind of intersects and starts to move. Actually no, because that doesn't work anymore, does it? So just clone it to element and just adjust it myself. Top viewport zoom. There we are. To there. Okay, jump back into perspective. Okay, that looks cool. Now, I'm going to bring these in a little bit more here and here, just to kind of narrow our nose cone a bit. And in there, I'm just going to close that piece off completely, which will make it quite an interesting looking piece, I think. Damn it, nearly had that fly as well. Right. Just going over this. And I'm going to delete this piece and then do some bridge work there and there and again here. Okay, now pull back. Now we need to get this angle here right, because if you look, it's well, not right. So select here and here, and I'm going to go, instead of my front view, I think I'll go into the other one. And I know I've got this back to front, but tough. Okay. Looks like I've got a case of too many verts there. Let's quickly jump back into this again. Yeah, I have. I should have realised. I'll just target weld these out. Otherwise I'll have a very messy model anyway. There we go. Okay, just change this again. In the case of getting these plates to kind of line up like that. There you go. So you can see how that's working now. Okay, draw back into perspective and see if that's the shape that I really want. And you know it probably is, because I quite like it. Okay, I'm going to grab here and here, just bridge them up. Okay, and over here. I think I'm going to move these in a bit. So I'm just going to grab all these verts down this side and just narrow them in, otherwise we're going to have far too wide a cockpit area anyway. There we go. Possibly a little bit less. There. That's slightly better. Now then over here, open this part out and delete, and just start connecting them together again. Bridge, turn it round. Now we can't see the piece at the back here very well that I'm bridging it to, but I need to select in there and delete it. It's always fun when you're doing this kind of bit. Now then, in there I'm seeing rather a lot of verts. Let's have a look at those. Target weld should sort these out. Otherwise we'll end up with too many. There we are. Okay, now from here to here. Quick bridge. And then over here. Should we be able to cap this? Let's find out. My goodness, we can. And here. Okay, pull back in. Bit of a bear moth, this thing, isn't it? Really got a big kind of clunky looking thing, which I like. Okay, now. Really heavily armoured, heavy duty kind of thing. We can assume they're recyclable and they pick the parts up and just build them back together again. Once they've hosed them down and stuff first, obviously. Okay, now take this one. And delete this one at the bottom here. Now then, down here we have a few too many verts for my liking. So what I'm going to do is just do some target welds, because we won't see these ones anyway. Just make sure we're not getting intersections that we don't want. You see, if I don't tidy this up, we're going to end up with a very messy area. So, here we are, just quick target weld here. And I'll move this one maybe to here. There we go. Now, we've got this piece here left over as well. Quick look at the end of this one. Ew, there's all sorts of mess going on here, isn't there? Straighten these out. Okay, perhaps a quick cut here. Slightly better. Rounds that corner better anyway. Okay, let's get back to this again. And this was all about just straightening this edge out, if you remember. So what I'll do is I'll just use target welds. And then just join these two up. Didn't delete this rear polygon. That would explain it. Go back. Now I can bridge. I'm just going around and doing it all around. Here we go. And what I'm going to do in this part of the tutorial is just go around and create the entire kind of cabin piece that we want. After which I'll be kind of clear to do all the detailing I want as well. Then what I said though, we're not rushing it, simply because if you start rushing something like this, just because you get nearer to the end of the model, you're going to really balls it up. That's why I made a point of deleting that piece I started on in the last set, if you remember. Okay, we'll take that. It's F4 so I can look at it. Yeah, that's nice, I like that. Alright, back into F4 again. Now I'm going to take this piece, let's bring it up to about there. Do a couple of target welds. I love that, it's just a massive blue over there on that side, isn't it? Okay, grab here. And there, that should do it. Down here, go my left viewport. Just going to straighten this bit out. Makes this kind of cabin piece here. Okay, my word, I believe we might have got to the point now where it's time to actually put the symmetry back on. So before we do, quickly run down this side and look for any solid polygons that we may have made that we need to get rid of. Doesn't look like we have, but it's best to be safe rather than sorry. Okay, fine. I'm going to stick a mirror on, click copy. I'm not actually using a symmetry right now. But yeah, anyway, because I want to go down and just check it. Make sure it all kind of pairs up okay. Yeah, that's nice. Looks a bit like the front of one of the Spice Navigator's ships out of Dune, actually, which I like. Okay, undo that. Now I can do symmetry, and I'll know it'll be okay. Make sure it's on the correct axis. There we are. Now what I tend to do, just in case, is just select all these down here and just do a quick weld, just to make sure that it's all closed up properly. So it's very easy to get a ballsed up model. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, so you can see how this is kind of working now, this big dropship fella. Go over here, and what I'm going to do is just start cutting out the shapes I want here for our actual reinforced steel cabin area. Not that we have a pilot inside it, but that's beyond the point. Before I do though, I think I should also sink this cabin back in. I might actually separate off the cabin just to make it a lot more modular looking. Let's decide. Or should I just bring it in? Well, I could of course just run a chamfer, not a chamfer, an extrude rather, all the way around this, like so. And just bring the extrusion in, like this. See what I mean? And then that would make this piece look like it had been inset. And I think I might do it that way actually. Or I could run a chamfer. Like this, and open my chamfer, and it would give me this nice gap here. And I think opening the chamfer is probably going to be the best bet in the way that I'm doing this. So I'm just going to run around my model now, opening my chamfer. The benefit of doing it this way is that I really do get to separate my model off nicely, as you'll see in a minute. You'll notice this is why I decided not to do any chamfering, just to smooth out the actual bulk of the ship after I built the last piece of armour just a minute ago. Okay, that works nicely for me. Click OK. Now, I'm going to isolate this part of my ship that I'm working on. Simply because there's a lot of polygons down here, which makes manipulating it a little bit on the tricky side. So if I get rid of some extra polys, it'll make my ship a bit easier to manoeuvre. You'll notice now, by the way, this is a separate element as well. So what I'm going to do here, looks like I've got a couple of, yeah, I have just a couple of verts there, but I wanted those. I'm just going around and checking my ship looks okay. Can't decide whether I'm going to take these things off at the side or not, just while I'm doing this. My top view, I think I probably will actually. Problem is I've got to stick them back on again. I could just hide them, of course. I think that's probably a better bet. So I'll do Control and Select, and just hide selected. There we go. Put back into perspective, and now they're not there, so I don't have to worry about them hogging my processor. Okay, let's look at these. Now we've got these two nice borders here that I've just created, one here and one here. Now ideally I'd like to bring them straight back into here, and just looking at this I actually can, because this piece is tilting up. If it wasn't tilting up slightly I wouldn't be able to. So if I hold down Shift and just drag like that, okay, that actually pushes that now back inside my model. Now at the top there obviously we can see where they're kind of waiting to join together. If I click, still got these two selected, click Bridge, and it now connects them back together again. So this is just a single piece object. These two borders however are still selected, which means that chamfering this is now going to be a hell of a lot easier. So I go to my Select tool, well, not that one. There we are. I'm going to slowly and very carefully go around and select all my pieces. I'm going to turn Ignore Back Facing off straight away as well. Don't forget to do these parts. Slowly going around my model now. Press F3 if I can't see it properly. There we go. Take your time on it. Don't forget, if you click and nothing happens, it means you probably balls something up and you should go back immediately. Do that one. There's one. And there. Being careful here to kind of go round them all. I'm going to come out and start doing this one as well, because it all just starts linking together at this point. At this point you're going to have to be really careful, because there's some quite narrow angled pieces here that are quite hard to see. For instance, you might debate, do we actually need to do this piece, to which the answer is probably no, but we should do that one, and definitely that one. This might be a good point for you to put on the radio and just relax. You see, this is what happens though when it's a really big long tutorial like this. People keep saying to me, you know, Chris, why don't you make big huge free tutorials for us. Well, I will, but I'm warning you. I'm warning you that you'll get a lot of parts like this. The more detailed a model is, the longer you have to take actually, doing things like this. So, don't complain to me, because you wanted this kind of thing. There we go. There we are. If you wonder why I keep deselecting stuff, like I say, it's just because I don't want to accidentally have the wrong line selected. I'm going to check this model carefully after I've chamfered it as well, just to make sure that it's not completely ruined. Okay, down here. It's going to be quite a narrow chamfer, this one. It's because of the amount of detail that we're covering in it. It's because I know that this is going to be our final finished rough shape at the front that I'm chamfering around it. I'm not planning on adding any more ablative or anything like that, so I know I'm safe to go in and do this. There we are. Just continuing rotating around my model like I'm having. Once I've selected everything, I'm just going to do a quick zoom and check everything I've selected. I don't need to select these, so I don't know why I'm doing it. See, I've got chamfer madness. Terrible. A small piece here, I may as well chamfer it. It's just a little. Well, you might be able to hear the jolly sounds of my ice cream van driving past the window. Okay, in here. Well, that did nothing. Try it again. And up here. And that one. Okay, just checking our model out. If I got it right, this should be in the middle. Let's just check. Might not have the right parts selected still, so I'm just going to go back and check. There's one. There. Oh, there. And up here. Oops. There we go, pull back. So that gives us this piece here now, which is ready to go. So if we turn on chamfer, don't open it this time. Check all our areas. And we're looking for pieces like this, you see. We know the chamfer's too big because it's intersecting too much. So we're just going to use a smaller chamfer there. Click OK. There. It's like a mammoth, isn't it? Maybe that's what this can be called. Mammoth ship. Anyway, I digress. So, front here. Now I can start building the actual shape of our cabin. Inset. There. And there. First stage. And here, if I just look at how much I can chamfer this corner, it's like quite a bit, so I'm going to select this one and this one. I want to chamfer them down like so, but I don't want to over widen them at the edge, so just want to make sure that's not going to spoil. No, they seem fine. Okay. Now over here, what I'm going to do is just marquee select there and there, and just do a quick weld just to get rid of any extraneous verts I might have. It also gets rid of it. Actually, if I just do a Control A, just click cancel, Control A, and then do a quick weld, I'll get rid of all the excess verts I've got, and it'll do a nice repair job for me. See? And I've lost a couple, well, about 4,000 there actually, so that's pretty cool. Just go around and check my model, looking for big errors, broken polygons, all the usual things. Seems to be holding together fine. Back into this. So we've got these two areas here. And I'm just going to extrude them in. Like that and like that. And just click OK. And then down here at the bottom, nice little inset there, and extrude them in. Again, we're still just making the basic shape here, we haven't even got to the detailing of these parts. Next, just to chamfer these fellas out. I'm just going to click Grow and Control Select by Edge. I'm just going to remove the parts I don't want to do. Okay, undo a chamfer. Should be that enough. And what we can do is we can just make this dark and smoked glass. This means we don't have to worry about the inside either. And then I'll just put a small bank or array of things here in this piece. So if I do an F4 and just insert those, and then go from say here to here and do a quick connect, and then here to here, connect, and I can extrude this in and perhaps add some sort of fan grill or something like that to it. Have to see. That was good. I didn't actually chamfer that at all. Grow, Control by Edge. I like that as well because it looks like a downturned smile, which gives it quite a psychologically glum looking effect. Okay, and chamfer. Use our chamfer quite a bit on this bit. Okay, and back, zoom out. Okay, and so I think we've pretty much achieved what I set out to do in this part, which is just to build the basic front plate and all that kind of business. By the way, don't worry about that, as you know from the last lesson, that's just our toolbox. Okay, so if we unhide all, go to our model itself, polygons, unhide all, lost those parts. That's okay, mistakes happen. I'll just have to go and bring them in from a different model that I've got, which will only take me a second. So if you made a mistake like I just did, and want to learn how to undo it again, silly foolish old me, what I'm going to do is go here and hide this selection. Now here I'm going to change this to main chassis, and there is a reason for that. Now if I do a merge, and I'll just go to a previous, something like 14. Here we are, detailing and riveting. And I'm just going to choose the original chassis, which is there, and use the merge material. It's quite good actually, because you get to see what it looked like when it had the old front as well. Now go to my top viewport, because we're still on the chassis here, and I'm just going to do a quick drag and select like that. And my perspective. Oh, looks like I've got ignore back facing on. There we are. Perspective. Okay, detach. And we're going to detach as object temp 1. There we go. Now find our original chassis, which is here, and hide it. That way we can check that this actually works and fits onto our ship. It's exactly the same piece as I rather cunningly deleted forever, so what I can do now is just clone it using the copy tool. Now remember, of course, it'll be inside out on this side, so I reset X form. You'll notice it goes inside out. Convert to editable poly. It's because I did a convert to editable poly earlier, which was a big mistake. Select as element and just make sure it's all selected, and then flip. Okay, now go back here, and I'm going to attach this and this, and then finally do a Control A and a quick weld. Okay, and that gets these bolted back where they belong, and if I check it, it's getting close. It's quite useful actually, because these are now all separate elements. We can make it quite easy if I pass it on to be unwrapped. Okay. Yay! Now I'm going to unhide all, and I can take my chassis, which I just loaded in, and as you see, it worked. We now have our ship here. And if you want to know what it looks like so far, just get this piece, and let's just attach it all together. Here we go. Just attach this on, not that, and maybe the wing as well. Press F4 to see what is selected here. Well, there's been quite a lot of it. Okay, front viewport, F4, and just mirror the lot. Jump into perspective. There you go, and that's what it looks like so far. Got a big warthog type thing. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to undo that now and undo all the attaches and things that I did to it. There we go. Okay, so with that piece done, I'll see you in the next part. And until then, thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.